The topic for this week is Canadian unity. Key terms that we should familiarize ourselves with. The first being law, which are rules enforced by courts, and I would also like to add that are not arbitrary. The second is public law, which is the relationship between individuals or groups and the state. Quebec has a civil law system, while the rest of Canada, obviously including Ontario, has a common law system. Common law refers to legal advancement via a case-per-case basis. Thus, we have landmark cases, which we use as a blueprint to try cases of similar nature. Civil law relies less on cases and court decisions, but instead interprets statutes and applies them to the case at bar. It is important to keep in mind that laws are interpreted by the courts and applied. Thus, the relevance of a landmark case or the application of a statute is subjective depending on the judge. I would like to take a critical approach to these four goals. We live in a democracy where the majority rules, but what about the minority? I feel that collective action is in favor of the majority, and only the majority has the means to pursue private interests. Also, more control is put on the minority than the majority, so really we have to question the equality of our state. Is Canada a state or a nation state? A state is where all the provinces and territories are considered equal. A nation state is where Canada is divided up into three groups: English, French, and Aboriginal. Linking back to the question of equality, we can note that English are the majority, while the other two hold minority positions. We can then bring in the Quebec referendum, where Quebec wanted to separate from the rest of Canada due to an English wash. That 49.42% is the minority in democracy, yet it constitutes nearly half of the vote. So is this really equality? Finally, we can discuss the Canadian Constitution, which includes many documents such as the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. It is both written and unwritten. Unwritten is considered informal and can be referred to as a convention. An example of this comes via our political system. Elections must be held every 5 years, although conventionally they are held every 4.